Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's coverage of the iRacing IMSA Sportscar Championship here for round number 5 at Road Atlanta. Alongside me tonight, as always, is Daniel Leet. Welcome, Daniel. What are your thoughts heading into tonight's fantastic race here at Road Atlanta?
Yeah, good evening, Scott, and to all the viewers tuning in on YouTube tonight. Yeah, I think we're in for a great race. It's classic circuit here at Road Atlanta, 2.5 mile, 4 kilometres in the Australian terms, 12 corners, so a lot of great racing opportunities and passing moves, some very fun spots around this circuit, especially with the undulation rises up through turn 1 and then as you drop down through the course. So I think we're in for some really good racing all around. Looks like we've got a great split of cars out tonight in both classes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We had 47 sign-ups tonight, so sadly we had a split, but nonetheless we are in for a cracking night of action tonight, with the strength of field being a little bit higher due to the smaller field. Having said that though, yeah, as you say, there's going to be quite a lot of action tonight. We've got three Daytona prototypes currently led by last season's champion, Blake Neck. And then we've got series regulars as well, Sebastian Tixer, Carl Jansen's returning as well, Clint Shane Smith, last week's winner at Mosport. Also we had, did see that we had Richard Westbrook as well, I think current Le Mans GT driver, so it's good to see him back as usual.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got some great regulars, as you mentioned, the likes of Blake being back. Unfortunately, he had some computer issues last week that prevented him from having a run, but very interested to see how the likes of Richard take to this circuit. Obviously, we saw him at Mid-Ohio last season and was the standout in that Ford GT with the way that he went on fuel strategy, so it'd be interesting to see how he plays that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently going through qualifying at the moment, seeing that we've got Mia Ott currently sitting third position at the moment. Time over 1 minute 17.39. Currently on her second lap. We'll see whether she can improve. And no, she didn't. Only 400ths difference. But it looks as though that everyone's put in qualifying times at the moment, so we'll just wait for the next couple of minutes to go through, which will allow us to commence into the race. But yeah, having said that though, good to see that there's more Daytona prototypes out there as well tonight. See that there's 4 in the grid tonight, so even though that we had one last week, saw that Clint Shane Smith took the overall win in GTE. So
yeah, I think the likes of having some challenges in the Daytona prototypes tonight certainly make it a lot more interesting for Blake, having some competition. I think Sebastian and Alan should be quite good. I think the real fight tonight's probably going to be in that GTLM battle, which it generally seems to be, especially in the last few races. But we've got some very talented drivers there. John Pisnick, who races the Australian Oceanic Endurance Series, very, very good in his BMW there. Carl Jansen, as you mentioned earlier, bit of a regular, and we know how quick he is in that core Autosports BMW as well. So the racing in all these 3 categories and with the spread of cars that we got, I think should keep us very well entertained right now.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, having said that though, Road Atlanta, would you say that it would be a more typically of a higher fuel burn circuit due to the nature of this track, or do you think that we'll be able to see an instance like Mid-Ohio last season where we had drivers going quite long into the race and being able to play that fuel strategy a bit longer?
Look, I think it really will vary depending on how you are through the race. Obviously, most of these cars have the ability for some sort of fuel map, which they might be able to play. The throttle percentage around this circuit is still quite high, especially with the length of the back straight that we've got here. So we're probably going to see the guys play a little bit with the mix. I think traditionally we'll probably still see that 20 to 25 minute time window where the guys will come in for a stop, however.
Yeah, absolutely. With the commencement of the conclusion of qualifying, sorry, we'll be able to bring you tonight's grid for round number 5 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship. And on the pole position, we have Blake Neck on a time of 1 minute 11.897. Alongside him is Sebastian Tixer. Alan Day sits in third with Walker Thompson in fourth. John Peacenik takes the GTE pole position. He sits on fifth on the grid. Alongside him is Carl Jansen for Course Sim Racing. Adam Pillow in seventh. David Toth eighth. Ross Woodford in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 last week's overall winner Clint Smith. Michael Kasakurt in 11th. Jeremiah Morton in 12th position. Justin Wallace in 13th. Slaven Korluka, series regular, good to see him here today. In 15th, Attila Tasi. And Kieran Harrison in 16th. Bernd Halbison in 17th. And Richard Westbrook in the 18th position. 19th position, and the GT3 pole position goes to Dave Cameron. Alongside him is Matthew Thomas. Me in 21st position, Jacques Swainpole in 22nd. Graham Ham in 23rd position, Adam Simpson 24th, and that rounds out the grid for tonight's race.
Going to be treated here too to a long pace lap as well, being the older iRacing here, so should get a good run of the cars going around this circuit also. So we've got all our Daytona field starting to make their way around. Blake Neck leading the guys through at the moment. He's got Sebastian Texier just next to him. And who else is that? Sebastian Texier, Alan Day, and Walker Thompson. These guys getting a good little gap now over the GTE cars. Being led around by Blake Neck, just coming through turn 2 at the moment. GT3 cars just starting to work their way down the hill. They've got themselves a nice gap to the back of that GTLM field as well, so shouldn't see any issues from either of these classes as they make their way around on this pace lap and get ready to...
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the trouble spots is going to be that turn 5 curb. Countless times that I've been driving around this track that's been a problem spot, mainly in open wheelers, but still can catch people out in GT cars as well.
Yeah, curbs around the circuit here are a little bit tricky with where you do want to get up on them. As you say, turn 5 at the bottom of the S, they're very tight. Turn 7 as well, just as you make your way under that long kinked back straight there, it's also quite critical as well to be able to maintain that corner exit and get a good run down to the chicane where the guys are coming through here at the moment on the pace lap. And there's a lot of overtaking that we're going to look to see through turns 10A and 10B where the guys are right now.
Yeah, certainly. Just waiting for the pace car to come in. He will be in momentarily and we'll be able to get this race underway. So,
go,
Blake pretty much guns it, and we'll take the just start-finish flag, and we'll lead into turn 1. Just cycling back to the GTE field at the moment, we've got Peasnik on the inside, trying to protect the inside from Janssen. I see there's a bit of contact in the background. Who's that? That was actually Carl. So, yeah, Carl having a bad start through no fault of his own, pretty much, and finds himself in the lower half of the GT3 field. Dave Cameron currently leads in the GT3 field. Mia Ott has made herself up into second place. Jacques Swainpole able to jump up into the third position. It looks as though that Matty Thomas has not taken to the start, but I think he's underway now. So just the stricken GTE car trying to make their way through the field, but that was Jeremiah Morton. So looks as though that some cars have been caught up in some incidents, but mainly most of the guys and girls out there had a clean start today.
Yeah, definitely. That I was just looking back at that first lap or first corner incident there with Carl. It looks like he actually got a bit of a helping hand from Adam Pilo, currently running second in the Ford there behind John Pisnick. So we'll have to see how he goes with a little bit of damage. Not too sure how that'll work. Our real life racer out here, Richard Westbrook, working his way up. He's already up 12 spots now and working on the back of Slaven Kaluka. Another series regular out there tonight, so should see a good little battle start to heat up with these two also.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at the classic battles at the moment, Caskert, Harrison, and Smith as well, very, very close as well. All within about 1.6 at the moment, so field's spread out just that little bit, just trying to avoid all the incidents, but still very, very close at the moment. See that Smith running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 7. But yeah, the BMW of Caskert not able to get up as close as he would have liked into turn 10A and 10B. But we'll continue on to start lap number 3.
Yeah, it looks like Blake's starting to really build that gap now, 2.6 seconds over Sebastian Texia, and he's really starting to walk away from this field at the moment. The Daytona prototype looking very stable as it normally is with Blake behind.
Yeah, certainly. Last season we saw Blake's dominance pretty much every single week, and certainly no exception tonight. Pulled a 3-second gap already. Opened up a, was it 6/10 gap or 7/10 gap last time around, so on average over a second a lap clear.
And one little battle we should have a look down in our GT3 field is Adam Simpson and Matthew Thompson. These guys very close together on track at the moment, working through turn 2 and starting to make their run down the S's, both running the AMG Mercedes and very, very close and competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Got them coming through turn 7. Maybe on a little bit of a replay there, Dan, but yeah, it looks as though that Thomas has got the jump on Simpson. As they're coming into 10A and 10B, will Simpson try and get the overrun again? Going to go side by side into the chicane, and Thomas has defended very, very well into that chicane.
Yeah, apologies for that. I was on the replay. That was a good move for Adam and Thomas. Those guys working very, very well. And good little fight, which I think that'll continue on the remainder of this this race. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just move a little bit further back up the field to 11th and 12th overall. Janssen trying to recover and getting past Hal Bison.
Yeah, he'll turn his eyes forward now. He's got Richard Westbrook's in front of him there in that Ford GT. So the BMW looking probably a little bit racier at the moment on pace, but this could be part of Richard's strategy here, run the fuel very long in this car, which we know he's certainly capable of doing, and trying to get it home maybe to a late 40-minute pit stop.
Yeah, certainly. You got to weigh up as a driver though, whether as Carl's going to look up the inside and he's going to get the overlap. He won't have the overlap for turn 2, but he will for 3, and he gets the job done. Well done for Janssen making that great overtake. It's probably the move of the night so far, but there's still just under 40 minutes to go, so plenty of time for Carl to try and make moves back up onto the podium. I seriously think he'll get back onto the podium, no doubt. But by the end, hopefully he'll be up towards second place as well, which I'm certainly thinking he's very capable of doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at the pace that he's running at the moment, he's currently sitting about third quickest outright speed in the GTE field at the moment. So certainly got the potential to work his way back up, as we see him really starting to widen that gap now over Richard, and in turn Richard's got his hands full behind him with Bernard Hilberts and David Toth right behind there. So that little scrap a little further down now, 11th, 12th and 13th, starting to heat up also.
Yeah, certainly. David Toth last week had a very strong result up until I think it was about 40 minutes into the race, where he sadly lost the back of the car at the exit of Moss Corner, and yeah, that incident for himself put him out of the race. But yeah, certainly had a very, very strong result up until that point, so he's certainly looking to show his potential here today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great move there. Toth down the inside on, who was that? Bernard Hilson. So very strong move up in through turn.
Let's go have a look at Ross Woodford at the moment. This is another battle that is very, very close at the moment between Woodford and Jessica. This is the battle for the final podium position. At the moment, so having said that though, the gap at the moment's just opened out a little bit to just over a second. Last time around for Woodford was a 15.24, comparing that to Jessica with 15.31, so yeah, not a lot in it, but still Woodford able to pull a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, both drivers' lap times very competitive. As you say, both still running the 15s or very low 15 minute or 1 minute 15 laps around the circuit at the moment. So car speed very, very consistent for these guys at the moment. I would expect that we'll see them probably continue this little scrap on. They're probably running at the moment, if not a touch slower than what we're seeing from Carl Jensen, who we were watching just before, make his way back up the field after his earlier contact there. But the consistency of these laps at the moment that they're putting in, very, very good. I think Michael, his last lap, that 15.31, was only a hundredth of a second slower than his outright fastest. So he's pushing very, very hard at the moment.
Yeah, another driver that's pushing very, very hard at the moment is David Toth. Was able to get past Richard Westbrook into turn 10A and 10B. And he moves himself up into 8th position in class at the moment, so he'll be trying to get onto the back of Slaven Kulica, who's another 5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, and speaking of Slaven Kulica, he's actually just lost a spot also to Carl Jensen as well, so that's another car checked off the list for Carl there. He now promotes himself up into 9th, so he's starting to climb back up through the top 10 now, and he's got about a 2-second gap to Clint Smith just ahead of him in the Ferrari as well. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how that gap closes down. First bit of this race, very, very exciting so far. Only 10 minutes into it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Jansen was the fastest GTE on track last time around. Closed 0.2 of a second on John Peasnick, our GTE leader at the moment, and a further 0.4 on Adam Pilo at the moment. So yeah, he's definitely on a charge. I would say that looking at lap times, where you've got potentially another 25 to 30 laps in this race. So looking at the average pace, I'd say that yeah, of course, Carl's definitely on for a podium, maybe even a second place.
I'll have to keep an eye here on Richard Westbrook as well. He's coming after a little bit more fire now from Kieran Hansen and Bernard Hilberson just behind him. So the car tonight for Richard not really working very well, still sitting in a 16.3 last time by. And that was his quickest lap of the race thus far. So maybe trying to bring those tyres in a little slower and use the fuel advantage that we know he can get out of this car, maybe to help him in the long run. But he's certainly in a world of hurt at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to try and outweigh whether to go quick and actually, yeah, gain the time on the track rather than in the pit lane. So it would be interesting strategy to see what Westbrook does. But yeah, Harrison going for the move, and he's going to get up the inside. Very good move from Harrison to get up on the inside there. Currently sits 9th in class at the moment, 12th overall.
Yeah, very strong move there into turn 10A, the first part of the chicane there. Bernard Hilberson now lining up a move on Westbrook as well. The guy's starting to come out of turn 1 up to the rise at turn 2, which is a blind entry for those who aren't familiar with the corner there. Richard's car very unsettled getting off those curbs, which we spoke of earlier just before the race start. That car not very compliant at the moment, but Bernard looking very, very strong in that Ferrari to get a move done here, maybe down the back straight into turn 10, similar to what we just saw from Kieran.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to bring up the weather as well, see that the YouTube chat has been requesting that, so here it is. Sometimes 8:52 in the morning, so an early race for the guys today. Winds are in a southeasterly direction at 16 kilometers an hour. Got an ambient of 18 degrees Celsius with a humidity of 44%, track temperature of 23. So drivers out there will be having lots of grip out there. As we see on the timing screen that Jensen's been able to get past Smith as well, so that was into turn 1. And pretty textbook move, I would have thought, from Jensen to get up the inside of Smith. The relative pace difference at the moment between Smith and Jensen was about 0.8 of a second last time around, so I think it was the wise decision for Smith to jump out of the way to try and gain a little bit of that toe, to try and get him to close up to the duo of Woodford and Casackert ahead.
Yeah, and with the pace too that Carl's running at the moment, really he's got about 7/10 on the majority of the GTE competitors at the moment. We should look to see that gap of about 3 seconds close down, probably in about 2 laps, if that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming up to 1/3 distance at the moment. See that there are a couple of retirements at the moment. I was seeing if there was anyone in the pit lane, but yeah, it's just a couple of retirements at the moment. But yeah, having a look at the GT3 field at the moment, we've got Mia Ott currently running in the first position at the moment. Jacques Swainpole in second, putting in a strong performance. He's series regular. Good to see him back out on track. Matthew Thomas currently sitting in third position at the moment. Bram Vanderham in fourth position. Adam Simpson in fifth at this time. And the only retirement at the moment for the GT3 field at the moment, I think, was the pole sitter, Dave Cameron. So it looks as though he had an incident at turn 1 on lap 2. So looking at his number of laps completed, so yeah, an unfortunate event there for Cameron to be out of the race, but they were certainly looking strong in the early part of today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just watching Blake at the moment. He's just come to put a lap on the GT3 class leader, Mia Ott. So he's working his way back up now to the back of that GTLM field, which is currently being brought up by Justin Wallace. So that's about a 12-second gap up the road now. So with anything, that'll probably close up just about the time these guys will start considering their pit stop options.
Yeah, that'll be... looking at the pace difference, it's about 3 laps time. Justin Wallace's last lap time was a 16.6, and next last time around was a 13.3. So yeah, as you say, 12 seconds. Yeah, it should be about 3 to 4 laps from here.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned him much, but well, since the start of the race anyway. But John Pisnik still having a very commanding run in the head of the GTE field at the moment. Last time by was a 15.1, so he's actually quicker than Alan Day in the prototype last time by, and the BMW seems to be working very, very well for him at the moment.
Yeah, so you see the pass on by Harrison on Westbrook. So sadly, Westbrook's falling down the field at the moment. But yeah, Harrison being able to get the jump on Westbrook into turn 10A and 10B was pretty textbook move, trying to maximise the track width on the inside there. Trying to force Westbrook out a little bit wider than he would have liked, but yeah, both make it through safely.
I think the only other close battle we've got going on at the moment, to what we're already watching, is down in the GT3 field with Matthew Thomas and Byron Van Ham fighting. Those two 0.6 of a second away from each other at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. See that Matty Thomas closed in 1.7 seconds last time around, so Swainpole had a huge mistake as he took a lot of the curb on the exit of the S's there, and that's going to allow Thomas to get the inside run, and he's going to go through. So Thomas up into second, Swainpole down to third.
Yeah, it looked like a very easy pass for Thomas to get through there on Swainpole. So not too sure, maybe got a slowdown penalty or something. You seem to sort of step quite a long way wide on the exit of turn 5 there and basically open the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking further up the front as well, Kasakurt under pressure from Janssen. Last time around, Janssen did a 14.76. Compare that to Kasakurt on a 15.5. So Carl looking to the inside now, and he's going to get the run, and he's going to get the overtake done even before the corner. So good move there from Carl, which is we got a Mercedes in the background. I think that might be Simpson. Just trying to get out of the way of the GTLM traffic.
Yeah, it was a great move there from Carl, as you say, really being able to control that and get the move done well before the braking zone there. But he'll have now Ross Woodford just ahead in the Ford GT there. So a little bit quicker last time by, at around 0.6 over Woodford. And that gap at the moment, 1.4 seconds. But with the pace that Carl's running at the moment, that'll close down very, very quickly.
Yeah, certainly. Just quickly looking through the closest battles on the field. It's yeah, the only close battle we've got at the moment is Hal Bison and Wallace, which the gap has opened up to about a second at the moment. So still got drivers within 1 to 1.5 seconds throughout the field. But yeah, this is the closest battle on the track. little three-way battle between Harrison, Westbrook, and our Bison.
Yeah, the gap sort of seems to have stabilised around that 1 second mark between all three competitors. They will need to be wary, though, not too far behind, and we might just catch him in the back of frame there. You've got Blake Neck coming up to the back of this little battle group now. So race leader coming back up on the back of the class as well. And I think these guys won't give too much issue, but we should jump up the front here. Carl Jansen right up on the back of Ross Woodford right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Still the quickest GTLM car on the track, Jansen. Only 0.2 of a second behind Woodford at the moment. That GT3 traffic's going to hurt Woodford, and that'll allow Jansen to get the run. Looking to go 3 wide, but that GT3 is going to sensibly jump out of the way. But yeah, Jansen back onto the podium.
Yeah, that was a great move from Jansen there. Used the GT car there of Vanderham to his advantage to get that sort of extra double toe and pull that move off very, very easy on. He's got now Pilo just ahead, 5 seconds up the road, so another contender now, and could see himself getting into the podium here very, very quickly.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just going to have a look at the time delta between these two drivers over the last 5 laps. You see that it's come down relatively quickly, actually, over the last 5 laps. Jansen's been able to close in good 2 seconds, so an average of 4/10 a lap. Looking at that graph, even though that lap 15 and 16 were slightly less that Jansen gained, but that might have been due to traffic. But having said that, though, gap's still stabilised at about 4.8, so and saying that, though, we've had our first pit stop as well. Jack Swainpole into the lane for first of the GT3 pit stops. So he has just he's come on just to pit lane just after halfway. So an interesting strategy, I think, but it must have been running either in traffic or with the threat of the GTLM cars coming behind. He must have just pitted just to lose as much little time as possible. Westbrook and Harrison at the moment very, very close, 0.2 of a second back. So looks as though that Westbrook's trying to put the hammer down now.
Yeah, the last time by for Westbrook there, 16:05. So car's starting to come back to him, maybe a touch there, and he's going to go down the inside here of Harrison. That's a bold move very early on, making the intentions clear, but we know how good Harrison is under brakes, and he just darts across and Richard into the wall.
Yeah, an unfortunate mistake there for Harrison, which pushed off Westbrook. See if we can get a replay of that one. Go back to originally to the pass. Let's see, that wasn't as good of an angle as I would have liked, but saying that, though, I think that it was just too deep when Harrison couldn't see his braking point where Westbrook moved across. But having said that, though, both of them knew that they were coming up to the braking zone very, very quickly, and we see Westbrook into the pit lane, so that long fuel strategy certainly didn't pay off for him with that contact.
No, not at all. It looks like also Harrison's got himself up in the fence here at the moment as well. So I'm not too sure whether he got a helping hand down through the S's here. But that car's stationary into the wall. It basically just went straight on the exit of turn 5, and that'll be his race done, I think.
Yeah, just going to get that back on replay right now. So he's caught the bump, and he's gone hard into the wall. Definitely don't want to end up in the gravel trap there, where the curb meets the exit road, where the club layout is, going onto the full layout. So yeah, an unfortunate mistake there for Harrison. But yeah, coming back to live now, see that Alain Day has come out in front of Carl Janssen critically. Alain Day is generally quicker than Janssen, so he won't be held up too much compared to the Daytona prototype. See that Texia has come out of the pit lane as well, so Alain Day still sits in second, in third in his class. So Texia strategy on point, trying to cover off Day, just pitting one lap later, as we see Blake Neck into the pit lane now.
Yeah, I don't think Alan will really, as you say, give too much issue here to Carl with the pace of that Daytona prototype. Looks like he's able to sort of start making a bit of a gap, but looking at the time here, that Carl's still got to come in for his stop yet, but he should be able to do something pretty quick here, being that we're now just over 27 minutes into this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking to see what the gap is at the moment between Pirlo and Janssen, and Pirlo's into the pit lane, so an earlier stop than I would have thought for Pirlo, but having said that, he's decided to come into the pit lane. Must have had some GT traffic coming up, or some Daytona prototype traffic behind, and also Smith is into the lane as well.
Yeah, I think now, based on where we are in the race, we're over half distance now. It's probably about a right time where we'll see a lot of guys come in for their stops. It's been pretty much a bit of a tradition that we've seen so far throughout the last 2 seasons, and I think that will continue. It looks like Richard Westbrook's getting back underway now as well. He had quite a long stop as a result of that damage that he sustained there from Harrison, and that was a minute 40 stop for him, so he'll be down a couple of laps as he rejoins as well.
Yeah, he is coming up to be 3 laps down from the overall leader. So, yeah, certainly not what Richard Westbrook wanted, but yeah, still into the race and may pick up a couple of positions from where he is. GTLM leader Pesnik into the pit lane. So Janssen is he's currently first in class, but very, very close with that GT3 car spun around. That was Vanderham spun around at the exit of the pit lane.
Yeah, that's not an ideal spot for him to be sitting on the crest there. It is where he is probably maybe ideal in that he's got good visibility for the drivers coming up through turn 1 there, but not really where you want to go and see someone as you turn into that corner run.
I see that Texia has made a mistake on the exit of turn 7, going onto the back straight. And that's allowed Alain Day to profit from that there and there's some. So he moves up into second place and Texia down to third.
Yeah, I don't think he's got any damage as a result of that, so he should be okay. He just needs to regroup and get back underway in that car there. Looks like Carl Jensen has also jumped in the lane now for his stop, along with Ross Westford as well. So another two contenders back in for their stops. That'll put Michael Kessica up into the current lead of the race, although he does still have a stop to go for himself. Looks like also Slevin Kaluka and David Toth have come down the lane for their respective stops also.
Yeah, I've just got the track map open at the moment. See that Janssen is about to leave his box, but yeah, Pele will regain second place, but Carl is noticeably closer actually. He's only 1.7 back. So we'll just have a look at the pit stop time, but is that me around, and that's very very close. That nearly took out Pilo, and yeah, he was able to avoid that. Nice driving from both of them to jump out of the way and to avoid that accident. But yeah, the pit lane time for Janssen was about 4 tenths quicker, even with a 2/10 of a second slower stop. So in theory, if they had the same pit stop time, it would have been a net gain of 0.6 for Janssen. Maybe an extra litre of fuel put in.
Yeah, quite possibly. It also looks like our final car here, Michael Kessica, has come down the lane for his stop also. So that'll be the entire grid now have gone through, and that field will now just reshuffle as the guys make their way back. But yeah, as you say, Janssen, now that he's back up to pace, a touch quicker still than Pilo, and that gap, I think we will start to see it drop now. Currently that 1.7 seconds, but with the pace advantage that Jensen's got, I think that'll continue to fall now.
Yeah, certainly. We'll see if we can go on board quickly with Janssen. See how his BMW is coping with the circuit here today.
Now, I think I did notice watching that on board there with Janssen, just how nicely the car was getting over the curbs. He had a little bit of a bobble there through turn 5, but we all know that's a little bit treacherous on the way out there. But through the majority of that lap, the BMW looking very, very
Yeah, absolutely. Just having a quick look as well. I've got Smith and Toth at the moment trying to go side by side at the moment. Looks as though that Toth was able to get overtake Smith on the exit of turn 7. So Smith is trying to get the overlap again, but is a little bit too far back into turn 10, taking a little bit of the grass there on the entry. So yeah, Toth into 7th in class, 9th overall. Smith a little bit further back than he would have liked, given his strong result last week with the class and overall win.
Yeah, probably not ideally what he would have liked, but still finds himself in a very good battle. I did also see his teammate Jeremiah Morton get back out on track after his lengthy pit stop. He was in the lane for 12 minutes, which was the result of some of the damage very early on in the race. So good to see both Jeremiah getting back out and still trying to score a few points here. And with the exit of a couple of drivers ahead of him from the server in Richard Westbrook and Kieran Hansen, might actually find himself up another couple of positions at the back end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just turning our attention back to the battle for second in GTLM. So Jansen's closed in another 4/10 this lap. This time by, and we've got GT3 traffic ahead. So who is that? Fourth in class. So that is Adam Simpson. So that'll allow Jansen to close right up to the gearbox, and Simpson jumping out of the way.
And we just got a sight there too of John Piesnik in his BMW, and this battle's really starting to heat up now for the top three. Looks like Jansen's got that move done nice and early into turn 6 there, and should be able to walk or start extending his gap and setting the eyes forward now on John Piesnik. He's not that far up the road for this race, only 2.5 seconds up.
Yeah, it might have been Pele redressing the turn 1 incident at lap 1. So, sportsmanship from Pilo. He'll try and look to the inside, but yeah, he's not going to be close enough into the chicane. But in saying that though, got some cloud cover coming up over the track at the moment, so just going to see if I can bring up the weather at the moment, see if the track temperature's changed a little bit, and it has by about 4 degrees. Ambience come down a little bit, so as well. So yeah, that grip's certainly going to be out there for the drivers. See, last time around, Jansen had a 15.7 and Peasney had a 15.4. So we'll see what Jansen's relative lap times to Peasnick are going to be this time around.
Yeah, definitely. I think so far, based on what we've seen for the night, I think driver of the night at this point in time must go to Carl Jansen here. The drive coming back from that early spin's been.
Yeah, certainly a weather contender for driver of the day. Jansen, as they're coming through 10A, turn 10A and 10B. Just looking at the gap now as they're going to cross the line. There's only 3 or 4 hundredths in it last time around, so yeah, just 3 hundredths last time around, so gap's relatively stabilised at the moment. Still got 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap, so
Yeah, and while we keep an eye on the timings here, we should do a quick recap just of the current class leaders out there. We haven't given a lot of time to them tonight, but Blake Neck doing a phenomenal job in the geodesic DPI. Got a gap currently of about a minute over Alan Day in second place, so he's driven away from the start of this race. John Piesnick, as we're saying, has been very commanding race in the GTE field at the moment, currently 2.9 seconds over Carl Jensen, who'd probably be wondering a little bit what might have happened had he not have had that issue with Adam Pilo in turn 1, lap 1. But these three very, very competitive and probably been really the standout of the GTE field. And then in GT3, Mia Ott doing a phenomenal job in the Audi, still continuing on that lead there. Matthew Thompson and Jacques Swainpole bringing up second and third in that class also.
yeah, absolutely. It could have been a different story for Mia having that spin at turn, I think it was turn 5, at the exit of the S's with, I think it was Jansen and Woodford trying to come through the field. And yeah, it could have been a very interesting story for all three of those drivers. But in saying that though, they've been able to navigate their way through. Uh, Janssen currently on lap 32 at the moment. Neck is on lap 33 as we speak. So, see that.
Yeah, and so looking at where Neck is relative on the track at the moment, he's starting to come up on the back of who's that?
Pirlo.
Morton. Actually, I think he's starting to come up on Pillow and Morton in there. So Pillow running fifth outright in class. Jeremiah Morton obviously a couple of laps down, and Blake really starting to show how quick that Daytona prototype is, especially even though it's only 45 minutes to have come this far through the field. He's certainly got the car working very, very nicely so far.
Yeah, absolutely. See Morton just holding up the Daytona prototype just a little bit, but jumps out the way now. Bit of a tricky section to navigate too wide with the prototype and the GTE, but yeah, both of those drivers successfully navigate their way through.
Yeah, and Jeremiah's been around long enough that he's well aware of the conditions and that, and how to get the car through safely in that aspect. Even if he's a couple of laps down, still very aware of what's going on. A couple of retirements that we should mention also tonight. Richard Westbrook had a run-in with Kieran Hansen. Kieran also retired from the race tonight. Walker Thompson is out in the Daytona prototype. LT Tussie didn't actually take the field, and he's been in the lane since the start of this race, and David Cameron did not, retired quite early on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. See that David Toth and Slaven Korluka are within a second at the moment, so coming up to 2.5 minutes to go. And yeah, Toth trying to get the 6th position from Korluka. Yeah, Toth been closing in second this time around, so maybe Korluka had a bit of traffic that he had to navigate. There was a GT3 just behind. That was, I think, Swainpole looking at the livery.
Yeah, these three, Korluka, Toth, and Michael, they're reasonably close together. There's only about, I think, 2 seconds covering the three cars, so not too bad. Still a bit of a battle for the minor positions, but good to see that the guys are still pushing as hard as they were opening lap to where they are right now.
Yeah, certainly. See that the gap between Piesnik and Janssen is fallen to about 2 seconds. So Janssen's still closing, but with 1.5 minutes to go now, plus 1 lap, I don't think he'll get there unless he has 2 or 3 laps of his life.
Yeah, it might surprise you. You know, last time by, Janssen was quicker to the tune of just over 0.3 of a second. So that, as a result, obviously did bring that down, and it's showing the BMW this late on into the race got a lot of potential still under it.
Yeah, certainly. BMW 1-2 and GTE forward 3rd. The highest Ferrari is in 7th position in class, 9th overall. See that Neck has put a lap on Pirlo now. Question is whether he'll get to Janssen, but I don't think he will. He'll be coming around to start the final lap of the race in just about 10 seconds time. We've only got 30 seconds left on the clock, so yeah, coming up to start lap number 36. Oh, sorry, 37.
It looks like Janssen and Piesnik both matching each other's lap time down to 100th of a second. Both a 15:07 for Janssen, a 15:08 for Piesnik. So both those drivers very equally matched this late.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think there's any traffic. Maybe Brian Vanderham might jump in the way of Pesnik throughout this lap, but I think that the GT LM battle is pretty much set. But yeah, Blake Neck is coming up onto the back straight now. Pretty much been dominating the race as you would have come to expect with Blake on the track, as he certainly proved last season. Certainly showing it again. I think just holding a little bit back for Janssen to be able to complete another lap. But yeah, Blake Neck will come across the line around the final turn to win the 5th round of the iRacing IMSA Sportscar Championship here at Road Atlanta. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, very dominant display from Blake again tonight, and congratulations to him and the Geodesic crew for another phenomenal win in the Daytona Prototype category.
Absolutely. Just looking further back, Corluka and Toth. Toth not able to close up as much as he would have liked. Only finished within 2/3 of a second. But yeah, that battle 6th and 7th on the track. So Corluka holds out to Toth. BMW just outpacing that Ferrari. Smith across the line now to finish 8th. Mia Ott she takes the GT3 GT3 class win today, so congratulations to her in that one. So that Maddie Thomas as well just crossed the line now as well. Also, Pesnik able to hold on to the GTLM win. He's about to cross the line now, and he will take the GTLM category win. And congratulations to him. Core Sim Racing's Carl Janssen taking the 2nd position, but certainly undoubtedly driver of the day after that contact on lap 1, turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he just proved just how good he is in that car. Obviously, World Championship status goes a long way, and seeing the pace that he's able to command in that car, and to come from so far back early on, it's a phenomenal effort.
Yeah, certainly. So, yeah, I think we'll be able to bring you the final race results here for round number 5 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here on Apex Racing TV. So Blake Neck takes the overall win, 51.1 seconds ahead of Alan Day in the 2nd position. 3rd position and GTLM category win goes to John Pesnik. Congratulations to him, only 2 seconds ahead of Carl Janssen. Adam Pillow finishes in 3rd position in class, 5th overall. Ross Woodford in 6th position. Michael Caskert in 7th. Slaven Kulika in 8th. David Toth in 9th. And Clint Smith in 10th. Bernd Halbison in 11th position. Justin Wallace rounding out the finishes in GTLM. Mia Ott takes the GT3 category win. And congratulations to her. Maddie Thomas in 14th. Jacques Swainpole in the final podium position for the GT3 category, 15th overall. Adam Simpson in the 16th position. Ram Vanderham in 17th. Sebastian Tixier sadly finishes in 18th and is the first of the retirees. Jeremiah Morton in 19th. Saw him circulating later in the race, but yeah, finishes 13 laps down. Richard Westbrook in the 20th position had that contact at turn 10A with the 21st position, Kieran Harrison. Walker Thompson finishes 22nd. Dave Cameron in 23rd, and Attila Tassi rounds out the field in 24th position.
Yeah, so it's a great result to all the participants tonight and class winners. Blake Neck, John Pesnik, and Mia Ott. Looks like we've got Mia standing down in the commentary room there, so we might bring her up and get a bit of an insight onto how her race went in the Audi. G'day, Mia. Welcome to the commentary box. Congratulations on the GT3 class win tonight in your Audi. The car looked very, very good out there tonight, and you seem to be able to have a bit more pace than the Mercedes.
Yeah, thanks. It made the race a bit easier when I think both Dave and Matthew had a little bit of mistakes there at the start. But I was expecting a good race, battling them, but yeah, just the pace on the Audi, especially before the stop. I think I was getting about a second and a half on my lap. So yeah, the Audi's a very good. Once you get a good setup on it, it's a very good car, especially around here. So yeah, really good race all around.
Yeah, we did notice a little bit of issue. I think it was through turn 5, just in front of a couple of GT3 cars, or GTE cars, sorry. Looked like maybe a result of getting on the curbs a little bit. Obviously, the Audi's still not quite adapt to getting the most out of the curbs.
No, not really. It's a fine line, especially with turn 5. It's a fine line of getting it right. You go a bit too wide, you get the curb and you get the gravel. You go a bit too early on the turn, and you get that inside curb, which is a fine line with that corner. But I think that lap that I did spin it, it was a bit weird because I tried to recreate it, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was a really weird incident, that one. So.
And there was no damage as a result. I don't think you caught the wall or anything.
No, I was very lucky with that. I didn't catch the wall or anything. So.
Fantastic. Well, again, it's congratulations on the class win tonight. The Audi drove away phenomenally well. You managed to get away through all that earlier carnage we saw on lap 1 in the GTE field, and got yourself a great.
Yeah, thanks.
Before we let you go, did you have anyone you wanted to give a thanks to at all?
Pure Driving School, their setups, especially for the Audi so far, have been absolutely amazing. Especially around there as well, they're very good, very comfortable sets around the curves and everywhere else. So I would like to thank them for the beautiful setups they've provided.
Fantastic. Well, again, congratulations on the class win in the GT3 tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back out on track for next week in the IMSA.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully I'll be out on the track Saturday morning or Friday night for the IMSA broadcasted race.
Fantastic. We'll look forward to catching up with you hopefully then as well.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Mirot, class winner in the GT3 category tonight. Looks like we've also got Alan Day down there as well. G'day, Alan. Congratulations, mate. Second place in the Daytona Pro.
Thank you very much.
How'd you find the car out there tonight?
Very slippery on the rear end. It's very, very good on the brakes. It is, but the rear end is quite difficult to actually keep stable. So I was having to correct it quite a lot. This is actually my first race that I did in the DP this week. So I'm still trialing it a little bit, as so is the rest of the team that I'm in at the moment, because we're still pretty new to the DP. We only started driving it on the week coming up to the Watkins Glen at the 6-hour race. But overall, I think I'm pretty surprised with the result in the end, especially challenging with Sebastian for much of that race until the unfortunate circumstances that he had, unfortunately. But it was a great race overall up until that point.
Yeah, it's great to see a little bit more participation, especially with the DPI. We know it doesn't get a lot of love or near as much love as it probably really should. But aside from the issues with the back end of the car, how'd you find getting over the curbs and getting around through the lap traffic?
The lap traffic was actually pretty kind, actually, especially GT3s. They were, being very sensible. I didn't have that much difficulties with GTEs either, because I wasn't really catching up to the top end of the GTEs like what Blake was doing as well. Over the curbs, it is quite bumpy. It is, of course, with the rigidity that it has, can cause a little bit of damage, of course.
Yeah, definitely very sensitive to the damage in that car. I might hand you over to Scott just to see if he's got a couple of questions before we let you go and enjoy the second place tonight in the.
Yeah, well done, Alan. Just a quick question. Heading into next week, we are at Lime Rock Park. What are your thoughts heading into the next round of the championship?
I'd probably say Ride Atlanta is probably only going to be a base setting to what Lime Rock is going to be. It's definitely going to be quite a big challenge because of it being a very small track. So catching up to the GT fields is not going to take very long. So it's a matter of not how fast you're going to be overall, but it's going to be more of a matter of how you're going to handle the traffic. And the person I think that's going to be winning the race is going to be that exact same person that's going to be handling the traffic the best, when to overtake, when to not overtake.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself. But yeah, just before we let you go, Alan, is there anyone that you would like to thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you for Tanner to actually providing the setup. He's been working very hard with the setup, and also 10x Racing as well for providing delivery that I've got on the car, and also for the support overall as well. I've recently just started streaming myself. I have, so unfortunately I didn't stream the race myself for this particular one, but I do plan to try and do that for the next race.
No worries then, and Alan, and we wish you all the best, and we certainly hope to see you next week at the same time,
Thank you.
10:45 GMT.
Thank you very much.
So that was Alan Day, second place in the Daytona prototype field. Certainly had a great result tonight. Sadly, he finished 51 seconds behind our leader, Blake Neck, but yeah, certainly put in a strong performance to finish on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you were saying, being very new to the car, it's certainly going to take a little bit of time to come into it, but certainly matching it quite strongly with Sebastian Texier there earlier on, which, Sebastian being a bit of a regular, very good yardstick for someone especially starting out in the car, similar to Alan. So hopefully we'll see them back for Mosport. Where are we? Lime Rock Park, as you say, very small circuit, Lime Rock, and we are going to have cars in a pretty big train all around that circuit, I think.
Yeah, certainly. That'll be same time next week at 10:45 GMT, the 16th of July. It'll be broadcasted on Apex Racing TV's channels, both on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Apologies, I had a little bit of an issue for those platforms tonight, so sadly it was only on YouTube. But certainly hope to bring back those platforms next week once I solve those issues. But yeah, just having a look at what's coming up on Apex Racing TV, we've got the iRacing VRS GT Sprint Series for round number 5 of the championship at Spa-Francorchamps. That's at night time, if I believe. So some night racing action on Apex Racing TV is always certainly fun to watch. I was doing some testing last night, so I can't wait for that one. That'll be starting at 18 GMT for that one. And then the BSR MX5 Pro Series, round 17 of the championship at Silverstone GP. I think that's the new layout, actually, that's recently been introduced onto iRacing. So that's the 2011 and later version of the track. So that'll be starting at 19:15 GMT tonight. Tomorrow night, Wednesday the 10th of July, we have the Dynamics Sim Racers World GT Series for round number 12 of the championship at Brands Hatch. That'll be starting at 19 GMT. That'll be GT3s around Brands Hatch, so that's always a classic combination and provides great racing. Then on Thursday night, we've got the BSR TC Pro Series, round 11 of the championship at Silverstone. And not exactly sure which layout that is, but that'll be certainly one to watch. The Kias always provide great action, as we've seen over the last few years. And then on Friday night, 12th of July, the 1900 GMT SOF race for that one will be at Daytona Road. So that is the round number 5 of the championship. That'll be on at, as I said, 19 GMT. On Saturday, we've got the Sim Racers Asia Formula 3 series for round number 4 of the championship at Mosport. That'll be starting at 13 GMT. 2100 Australian Western Standard Time, 2300 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then the first round of the championship of the Euro V8 Supercar Series of Season 7 at Interlagos. So that will be a fantastic race to watch. that series has always been providing great action throughout the seasons that it has been broadcasted here on Apex Racing TV and before that as well. So it's good to see that continuing on. Then on Sunday night, we have the Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Development Series for round number 5 of the championship. That'll be at Daytona Road as well. That'll be starting at 20:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time for 10:45 AM GMT. And then second to last, we got the World GT Championship for round number 1 of season 6. That'll be starting up Monday night, 19:15 GMT on the iRacing Esports Network. I think for that one, that'll be at Brands Hatch for that one. Then on also Monday nights, the BSR MX5 Monday Cup for number 6 of championship at Indianapolis. That'll be at 19:15 GMT as well for that one. And then the last but not least, then we have the IMSA Sportscar Championship for round number 7 of the championship at Road America. That will be a late one for the guys broadcasting that one. That'll be starting at 12 AM or 12:15 AM GMT for that one. So that'll be for the Mustangs and the MX5's multi-class race. Certainly one to watch for that one. And then we'll be back here for round number 6 of the championship at Lime Rock Park. So a lot of action coming up on Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of key ones I'm very interested in on the Aussie side. Obviously, the Simasia series and the new one, the Australian Mixed and Fixed GT Development one as well. That's going to be quite entertaining to see that series, having come across recently just to Apex.
Yep, certainly is good to have that series come on board. And just as the server clock has closed the server on us, so I think that'll pretty much wrap it up for us tonight for round number 5 of the championship. It's good as always to have you with us tonight, Dan. Certainly hope to see you back next week.
Yeah, certainly, Scott. Looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to being back, and really looking forward to seeing how the 3 classes next week get around.
Yeah, certainly. Lime Rock's going to be a very, very tricky track. Certainly going to be one of attrition, as Alan certainly pointed out. But we certainly look forward to tuning in to one of the following broadcasts as mentioned coming up on Apex Racing TV, and then back here as well for round number 6 of the championship at Lime Rock Park. Same time as always, at 10:45 AM GMT next Tuesday. So thank you very much for watching, and I will wish you all the best for the next week, and certainly look forward to your company next week.